Hello, this is Jerry Jokoy, and I'm going to be doing a review on a couple of clones that I got. The Microtech Stitch and the Microtech Kestral. This is one I didn't even really know about until recently. And both of these are overpriced for me. I'm not saying they're, you know, I'm not I mean, they're cool. I like this hawkbill. These are well made. I got them from AliExpress through the company JUFULE. And everything I've got from them I'm happy with. The other companies, I've got some lemons. Now, just to show you, look, I buy Microtech. And I have the fixed and the folder of the SOCOM Elite. So, and you can tell the differences. You know, you can't feel the laser engraved billboarding or maker's mark, whatever. Anyway, so I do like, and I've had the Ultratech. That was my first Microtech I ever bought years ago. I don't have it in my collection anymore, but every now and then I'm in the market for something like that. But I really don't care. If I sold these, they wouldn't come with the boxes. I wouldn't sell them, and I would damn sure not. I shouldn't have to say this, but I wouldn't sell them as the real thing. I'm going to sell them exactly what they are, but they're just not worth it to me because I paid around $50, $60 for these. It's not worth it to sell them because I wouldn't feel comfortable asking for much more than that. You know, the only way I would get it is if I lied, and I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to do people like that. So being honest that it's a clone, it's not worth more than I would pay 70 or 80 for it, honestly, because it's worth it to me. These are really good quality, I think. I haven't sharpened it yet, but as always, later on, if I find out that, oh, they don't take an edge or they don't hold an edge, I'll let you know. But everything I've got from JUFULE, that company, on AliExpress, I've been very happy with. They've came pretty much sharp. This is like, so that's not bad. And I don't know, the stitch, yeah, same thing. It's the edge that I really, the problem I have with it is like, it's polished. You know, like the last time they went over it was with a polishing wheel or whatever, and it's smooth. I like the last pass to be like a coarse, and you can feel what I call micro abrasions on there, or micro serrations. They just, like, these would just pass right over a tomato. You could push a tomato in and it wouldn't cut through until you push a certain point pressure. But if you get the kind of edge that I like, you barely hit the tomato and it cuts through because it has those little abrasions or serrations in there that you really can't see with the eye, but they're there. That's what I like. I feel like it cuts better, and it's better, you know, for you know, like opening boxes or whatever. I just like that kind of edge better. But these came nice. They fire hard, and there's a little blade play in this one, but it's not bad. I mean, for $50. And I'm going to sharpen them both and put the edge that I like. And I always come back if there's something that's like jumps out at me and I don't like, and I say, hey, guess what? You know, when I sharpened it, this happened, or it doesn't lock. If anything happens like that, I'll always put it in the description. But I'll let y'all have a good look at these. And yeah, I have to do the disclaimer because Medford says I'm colluding with the enemy if I buy Chinese knives. I'm going to use an analogy here too. And here's the stitch. Here's the X side. Here's the show side. So, not a bad looking knife. Yeah, I didn't show you the back and the front of the Kestral, but so I will. Really nice looking knives. Okay, in the 80s, the 70s and 80s, American made cars. I'm American. I'm proud to be an American. But our cars, after 100,000, 130,000, they were just wore the hell out, flat wore out. In the 80s, I was driving 70s cars because that's what I could afford, you know. I had a 76 Blazer was my first, and it did pretty good. You know, I wouldn't want to go far in it, but it did all right. So there was problems with differential, whatever. But the thing is, I have friends that had like Japanese trucks, and theirs had way over 300,000 miles, and they didn't even hardly change the oil in it. And I did those things. And after buying, like in the 90s, a Ford Bronco 2, and that was the biggest lemon I've ever had. I don't remember what year it was. It was a 90 something model, but it was a pile of shit. It was a lemon. And so after that, I'm like, you know, I can't afford to buy lemons, and they're in the shop more than I'm driving them. I'm going to buy Japanese. And so I bought a Nissan truck, and I drove that son of a bitch more than 300,000 miles because I used Slick 50, and I believe in that shit too. I ran out of oil once because there was a defect in the oil filter, and it was knocking, and I thought, oh, I've done it. The engine had over 200 and something thousand at that point. And I went home and put in the old oil filter in it from the last oil change, and then filled it up with oil, and went in the house while it was running. It was still tapping, and I was like, oh, my truck is destroyed. When I came back out 20 minutes later, it was purring. And when I wrecked that truck, it had over 300,000 miles on it. Don Quixote, I'm in the middle of a knife review, so you're going to have to wait. I'll take you outside. Let me finish the review, okay, buddy? Sit down. I love you. Sit down. I love you. Sit down. Let me finish this, okay? Be patient, buddy. Okay? Anyway, so in the 90s, American companies, guess what they had to do? They had to get on the ball because people were like noticing this. And then I bought an Astro van. I think it was a 94 or something like that. And I bought it from one of my supervisors at work. And that's another car. I put 100,000 on it. It had like 200,000 or 150,000 when I bought it. It had a lot of miles. And I drove it, and all I ever had to put on it was a fuel filter that was in the fuel tank. That was kind of a bitch, but a belt, a starter, and I think an alternator. That was it. And I drove that thing back and forth from Waco to DFW. And anyway, so because American vehicles were lagging behind in the 70s and 80s, they had to pick up their game in the 90s, and now they're, you know, so that's what happens. People follow, American, like Medford, he's saying we're colluding with the enemy for buying these. Well, he's making an American-made knife for $800. That, to me personally, I'm not saying this because I don't like him. I think he's an asshole, but I think his knives look stupid. They're like a quarter of an inch thick or more, and they have these like 45-degree angles. To me, that's dumb. I don't want it. I don't want a folding knife in my pocket that weighs 2 pounds. I'm not interested in that. And the fact that he's charging $800 for an American-made product, but he's going to bitch at somebody for going to China and buying something for a good price. Some of us don't have $800. I know people that it was all they could do to go out and buy an AR-15 to protect their family because of what's happening in the world. It was all they could do, and I was proud of them that they did that. They made sacrifices to purchase that. So if they could barely afford that type of firearm to protect their family, do you think they're going to go buy $800 knives? No. But they probably will buy $40, $50, $60 knives. You can't buy very many American-made knives for that. So I'm not ashamed of it. And oh yeah, the Kestral